same thing. But, it definitely added an element of kind of second-guessing yourself and losing a little bit of sleep over it.
So moving into conference play, I ask Coach Yeagley this, I feel like every year, so I apologize if it's going to be recycled, but is there an extra added intensity when you go from non-conference play to conference play, and do you have to add it yourself, or is that something the kids do for you?
I think the kids naturally, our kids know that you only get so many football games guaranteed as a high school football player, so I think they do a great job of getting wound up and going to play as hard as they can every week. The one thing that I would say, once you get into conference play, especially in our conference, right, you're getting a quality opponent every week, and you're playing an opponent that's familiar with you or to you. So, I think from a preparation standpoint, it takes a little bit more focus, a little bit more homework done during the week just to try to see what are these guys seeing and how are they different from last year. And so that's probably the biggest thing.
So when you look at this stretch that you guys are going into, this starting with Lakeview, now it's Struthers. Next week it's Pullen. Obviously, we're not looking ahead, but this schedule makes it very challenging not to look ahead because you literally are getting beat in the face every single week, and there's teams that are so different from Lakeview to Struthers, from Struthers to Poland. This truly is a gauntlet year for you. How do you kind of prepare your team for this stretch you guys are about to go through?
Well, I think you just embrace the challenge and the unique challenge that is presented every week, right? I think our whole conference is filled with great players and great coaches, and it really forces you to treat every single game as if it's a championship game. Because it might be, right? You never know when that's going to be the game. And so you prepare as hard as you can, each week. And I think that pays dividends down the stretch when you start realizing, hey, we've strung 7 or 8 weeks in a row together that we feel like we're playing playoff football. We're playing for a championship. So, I think in the long run it benefits you. The struggle is obviously trying to stay healthy and trying to stay as fresh as you can for the long haul.
Week 0, we heard 3 teams in the NE8. We heard Struthers. We heard Poland. We heard South Range. Obviously, you throw the other elements in there that aren't easy weeks at all, but now it's Struthers versus South Range, Poland versus South Range. This is where the NE8 is won and lost. This is where the impact zone is. Do you look at this film differently? Do you prepare any differently for games like these? Even though, you look around, the spotlight isn't on these games, at least to this point. I know that the game of the week is somewhere else where I think everybody in your locker room feels like this is a pretty doggone big game.
Yeah, I think, anytime you play Struthers, you're going to play a physical football game, and they're going to have plenty of community support. They have every time we've been over there, it's been a great environment. So I think our kids are excited for that. And then I think there's probably the human element of saying, hey, we've been hearing about these guys for a long time now. Yeah. And so our guys know that, it's going to be a big challenge in front of us. But, I'd like to tell you that we approach every game the same and with the same intensity. The truth is, I think it's just human nature that, to some degree, you look at games like this and probably put a little bit more emphasis on it. I think that's something to be honest about. I think it's okay to be honest about that. But, so I know our kids are excited to go play and see what we can do.
This game feels a little bit different because Struthers was the team that, for all intents and purposes, I think everybody would agree, they let one get away last year. And I think there's still that chip on the shoulder of they're talking about we were the closest to the state champions last year. Now we got to finish the job. How does that sit with you? Do the guys realize that? Do they feel like, hey, we owe them one from last year?
Yeah, I don't know. It's so hard to say, year over year how you feel, going back to what it was last year. I'm sure our guys would probably tell you we don't feel like we played a great game.
Okay, so let me ask this question. Do you remember how many turnovers there were?
I think there were 6.
You nailed it. See, yeah. You remember that, right?
Yeah.
That sits in the back of your memory a little bit.
Yeah, I think, and again, we didn't play a great game, and a lot of that was because they did a great job of taking some things away, and they made a lot of plays, and they're a very good football team, so I don't think, there's a whole lot of guys on either team that are still playing from last year.
Yeah.
And it's a whole new game, but again, we're very well aware of the talent that they bring to the table and the coaching they bring to the table, and it's going to take a great effort by us to come away with a win.
Comparables. You're talking about they're 2 different teams. Are they comparable? Are they running the same kind of formations as they did last year? Is it something you can go back and look at tape from last year?
Yeah, definitely. I think from a schematic standpoint, they're very similar to what they've been really since we started playing them.
Sure.
There's obviously some wrinkles, and they're trying to use their guys use their talent in different ways, year to year. But I think from a big picture perspective, it's still relatively similar. And I think we are too, right? I think every year we change a little bit, but it's about the same thing. So I'm sure, I'm sure they're looking at previous films, and we're looking at previous films and trying to see, where we can improve.
So there's a very special guest we're going to have tonight. A guy that's very close to you, defensive coordinator, Mr. Nico Mancuso.
Yeah.
We're going to talk to him a little bit. I know he's nervous. So, and you were nervous the first time you jumped on here too.
Yeah.
What should we know? What should the world know about your defensive coordinator, Coach Mancuso?
Well, selfishly, I can tell you he's just a great friend to me. But as a football coach and as a leader and as an educator, there's nobody that cares about the kids more than he does, and that's probably the most important thing. When I'm looking at trying to build a staff, and you want to get somebody that obviously loves the kids, loves teaching, can communicate at a high level with them, and has their best interest in mind. And I would say that he cares the same about all our starters and the guys that are freshmen in their first or second week with the program. I mean, he's done a great job of developing those relationships. And when I was hired, I was told, you want to go out and you want to hire people that are smarter than you. So, which isn't overly difficult for me. But he definitely fits the bill there. He was a really smart guy that works really hard, takes great pride in what he does, and has a great relationship with our kids.
When you look at Coach Mancuso, X's and O's, right? And I've heard stories about how much time he puts into. Literally, he has a huddle shirt he wears around with so much pride.
Yeah.
What does he bring to the table for you, X's and O's, into the coaching room?
Well, it really works nice for me because I feel like we have a very similar mindset in terms of what we're trying to accomplish and what we're looking for from a football team from a defensive standpoint. Even prior to him joining the staff this year with us, we would still talk a lot about what was going on and try to share ideas with each other. So that's been a blessing. And then, like you said, and you kind of alluded to this, he just works so hard, in everything that he does, and that's something that I want our kids to see, what it takes to be successful in whatever arena it is. And he works really hard, and again, just the relationships that he builds with the kids, I think, is the most important thing.
Okay, so when you look at off the field, right? I give you a question. I'm giving you 2 off the field questions tonight.
Okay.
Making it a little challenging on you. If there was a TV series that of all time, doesn't matter, new, old, where would you want to be in that TV series? What TV series would you want to be a part of? I guess is a better question.
Well, I did have some help ahead of time from my wife about this question, so but she had a good one. I would say Vikings.
Vikings.
Yeah.
I've never seen it. Where did it air?
I think it was on Peacock, maybe.
Peacock,
I'm not sure. My wife handles all the streaming stuff. I can barely turn the TV on, but I'm pretty sure it's on Peacock. And it was a really great series. It was set probably 1300s over in Europe, when the Vikings were making their rounds.
So what kind of Viking would you be?
Probably one that followed the rules because those guys were pretty tough. They were pretty ruthless. So I'd be one that was falling in line real quick, I feel like.
Second question, and one that I think gets everybody, is your favorite song of all time?
Of all time, probably one that most people of our generation haven't heard of. It's Old Church Hymns and Nursery Rhymes by Waylon Jennings. My favorite of all time.
Really? Why is that?
It's just a great story. The song's a great story. Waylon Jennings is one of my favorite artists.
Yeah.
Kind of an old school country guy, and it's about a relationship between a guy and his child and his family, and as the years go by. So kind of a sentimental pick.
Awesome. What is the worst song of all time?
Of all time, probably. I'm not big on what was it, Barbie Girl?
I'm a Barbie girl.
Yeah, that one. That wasn't a great song.
Have you seen the Barbie movie?
No.
Are you going to?
Probably. If Geneva has anything to say about it, I might. I don't know.
What you do for your children, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
Whatever it takes. Coach, thank you so much. Best of luck to you this
guys.
week.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. We'll be back with Coach Mancuso right after the break, right here on your Sports Network. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, right here at Giangelo's in Boardman. DJ Yoakley with the South Range Raiders show. Special thanks to Coach David Rach for teeing things up for us. And, well, he teed some things up for you too, my friend.
Yep.
Speaking of friendships, pretty close friend in David Rach, you and he. When you joined this staff, it was kind of an unconventional thing last year, right? When it kind of meshed. The long playoff run, obviously, you guys jumped in. Coach Nico Mancuso joining us. So Coach, tell us how it kind of started, the conversation maybe that got things rolling. And I heard a headset problem kind of got things rolling as well.
Yeah, I'll get to that. So it's funny. Dave, I think, was always trying to get me over here, and I was trying to get him over to Fitch when I was at Fitch. So he won. But, yeah, so when our season ended at Austintown, I'm like, we're talking, and he invited me, like, hey, start coming to our games.
Yeah.
Come help me up in the box. I'm like, absolutely. Like, when anybody that's coached, or played, like, when your season's over, you just feel like it's a gut punch. You've had your heart ripped out.
Sure.
Like, now what do I do after school, But so I was more than thrilled to start watching film again, and I didn't think I was that helpful on Friday nights. He says I was, but so it gave me purpose to finish out the season, and then these guys weren't losing, and they just weren't losing, and they weren't losing, and they go all the way. But so the state championship games played in Canton at the Hall of Fame, and these guys find out, I think, the week of the game, like, hey, by the way, if you don't have CoachCom headsets, they're not going to work.
Which nobody has,
Right.
unless you're in the Federal League, right?
Yeah, right. So I'm like, well, I happen to coach at a school that has them.
Yeah.
So the TJ Parker at Fitch was great about. I said, hey, do you mind if South Range uses the headsets for the title game? He's like, absolutely not. Like, go ahead. And so I'm there at the title game, like, setting up the headsets because I did it every week. And like, okay, this goes here, and boom, make sure that works. But so it was kind of cool, and that was my contribution to the state championship.
I love it. I love it. From a standpoint of just mutual respect, I know that you and Dave have a lot. And talking to Coach Yeagley a couple weeks ago, he said that you would go in and you'd say, well, you guys don't do this, and you don't do this, and you don't do this, and they'd be like, no. I mean, it was a different culture, right? It was almost a culture shock probably for you going from Fitch to South Range and South Range to Fitch, and because you still teach there.
That's right.
And by the way, every single, I feel like, interview I do with Fitch on Thursday nights, I ask who's your most influential teacher, who's your favorite teacher, and they say Mr. Mancuso. I mean,
Shut up.
That,
Really?
I swear to you, you can check the tape.
I
mean,
will.
you
I'm
watch
gonna-
enough
yeah.
of it. You can.
Yeah.
What's an extra 10 minutes,
Oh,
right?
that's cool, man. Thanks.
But what is it like when people say that? I mean, you're having influence in multiple places in this area. When you talk about Fitch, obviously, and now you talk about the lives that you're changing here at South Range, what does that mean to you?
Everything. I mean, the reason anybody, I think, gets into teaching or coaching or both is they had men in their lives that were influential and impacted them in a positive way. And you say, hey, I want to be like that guy. And to now be the adult having kids maybe look at you that way is pretty cool. It's like, it's so humbling. It's like, man, that's how I felt at that age. And man, if they knew everything about me, I don't think they'd look up to me. But nobody's perfect, and you find that out as you grow up. But it's very cool to be now in a position where kids maybe respect you and admire you a little bit. So
What's important to you when you're either educating or coaching, when you're talking to kids? What is the most important thing to you to make sure you get across to that individual?
when I was younger, it's a good question. I think you're so caught up as a young coach, hey, I want to know what I'm talking about. Same with teaching. I want to know my content. But I've learned in the last 12 years, it's the cliche quote, right? But they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And forget who said that originally, but it's so true.
Yeah.
And the number one thing I want a kid to know when I'm coaching them or teaching them is this is like a byproduct. This, whatever, we're talking football, algebra 2, I want you to know that I'm trying to help you be successful because I care about you and I love you. And
So one of the things that I've learned very quickly about, especially this area, but I think coaching in general, is that every coach gets into coaching because they had a coach that inspired them.
Mm-hmm.
What's the story with you?
Same, no different. when I went to Austin Town Fitch, I was played for multiple head coaches.
Yeah.
Neil Kopp for 2 years, and then Phil Annarella for 2, who I started coaching with. And forever grateful to Coach Annarella for giving me that opportunity. But honestly, my position coach at the time, Wally Hurdley, who coaches at Canfield, made the biggest impact on my life, there's no doubt. And, linebacker coach taught me about toughness and discipline and taking pride in what you're doing and being accountable to your teammates, all the things that you'd want, your own son to do and care about. And it's funny, I'd ask him all the time, like I'm a senior, and I'm like, Coach, I don't know what I want to study. And I ended up going to engineering at YSU for a year and a half. But I was still helping out at Fitch doing stats on Friday night, and I'd break down film Saturday morning. I'm around the staff, and I'm like, I'm seeing the back room, so to speak, of football coaching, and I'm like, I could see myself doing this. I don't really know about the engineering stuff, but so yeah, I mean, I don't know if I answered the question exactly, but yeah, it was Wally Hurdley, and then I had an opportunity when Bo Pelini comes back to Youngstown State.
Yep. That
I'm buddies with his nephew, and I'd been trying to break through and get into the college game after 4 years of coaching high school, and Mark Pelini was influential in making that connection, and
sure.
Boom, and I learned so much from Bo, obviously, and forever grateful to him. Same thing, man.
So you've got multiple coaching trees that you're just pulling leaves from and branches from. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm not smarter and better at it, but yeah.
Listen, you talk to these guys, they think you're pretty all right, dude.
Yeah.
Is it important? You think it's important to go to different cultures of coaching, so to speak, and kind of take a little bit and build your own coaching style?
I
do you like the one list all the way down?
No, I do. And trust me, I'm the last guy to say, like, I'm for guys bouncing around.
Yeah.
Especially this stuff going on with the transfer portal. And
yeah.
I hate it, okay? But coaching, I do think there's value for sure in having different experiences, coaching under different head coaches, being in different cultures, like you said. Certainly coaching at a big school and with the kids coming in at Fitch is different in certain ways than coaching at a South Range.
Sure.
Or, if we were in California, I'm sure that'd be different, or Florida, and I think a good coach has had those experiences and knows how to, because then you learn how to motivate a wide variety of different kids, right? Coaching DJ might be different than coaching David.
Yep.
And so yeah, it can only help, I think. And then you find out who you are and what you like and what you don't like. And yeah.
For being nervous, man, you're killing it. I got to tell you. I mean, you
Yeah,
are knocking it out of the park.
Thanks.
So, South Range, right? Everybody kind of talks about it until they're here. I think you and I are kind of cut from the same cloth in that we've kind of been adopted by this community.
Yeah.
When you look at that, what to you is different about the burgundy and gold?
Tonight, like, look at this. I mean,
It's pretty awesome.
Who else is doing this? And other schools, I know you interview other schools, but the parent and community involvement, I mean, these guys love each other. They're out here for each other. It's not just about, so-and-so's son, and he's only here for his son. I mean, these parents, I've felt they truly care about the entire team. And that sticks out to me. That's just off the top of my head. A few other things. But, yeah, I mean,
That's huge.
they love each other. They really do.
A reliable source told me that you're really good at golf. True or false?
To me, that's so, arbitrary. Like, what's the measuring stick? Good compared to who?
Not Tiger Woods, compared to a regular person,
right?
But yeah, like can you can handle your own if we went out right now and we played a match?
I can hit the ball and get it in the hole in a decent amount of strokes. Yeah.
That is the biggest undersell I've ever heard in my life. So what's the best part of your game?
Depends what day it is.
Oh my goodness, you're coach speaking without having to be a coach right now. Let's just be friends. Can you drive? I mean, you can obviously drive, right? Can you outdrive
not
David?
Super long. No, gosh, no.
He hits nukes.
No kidding. I mean, Coach Rock, that thing it's a rocket.
Yeah.
And I don't know when it's going to drop. But I could get him in the short game, I think, and I think I putt better than Dave most days.
So you're a dough guy.
I'll take the putting. Again, I'm not saying every day, but
Favorite course? Courses? Are there ones that stick out to you that you enjoy?
for sure. I'm in a league at Reserve Run,
Okay.
which I love. And
Sponsor, by the way. Nice job.
beautiful. Let's go. Okay. Yeah, Kensington's coming along. They're starting to take better care of that place. I love the layout. Flying P, I mean, always got to have a few rounds there. I mean, can't beat the price.
A few rounds of golf or a few rounds of something else?
Yeah, what did I say?
I love it, dude.
Yeah.
Finally for you, I mean, I know your family means a ton to you. I know you're a family guy through and through, and it shows. Talk about kind of where you've come from and how that family impacted you along the way.
Yeah, born and raised in Austin town. Parents sent me to St. Christine's. That's where I met all my buddies that ended up going to Mooney. And then some of them guys went on to play at YSU with David. It was like cool. Like when I ended up meeting David later in my life, it's like, oh, you know this kid. Oh, you know that kid. Like Donald DeLisio, Zach Larson, Johnny Simon. Like boom, boom, boom. And you start making all these connections. Like, so that's helped too. But yeah, my dad was great player at Cheney. They 1974 season or 10-0, and back then they missed the playoffs because not enough teams made it. Like I heard about that all growing up. My grandfather, his dad, Hall of Famer at East, running back, got a scholarship in like whatever 40s, 50s to go to Miami, Florida, which back then was like a huge deal. Yeah, so football's always been a part of our family, I guess I'd say, and that's been a lot. And I've always took pride in doing a good job playing or coaching because there were guys before me that I'm blood relative with that it meant a lot to, and it probably will never stop being that way. So
awesome, man! You did a phenomenal job. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Please don't make this a once-a-year thing. Let's have you back. All right?
My pleasure. Yeah.
Nico Mancuso, everybody, defensive coordinator for South Range. Right? Oh, look at that! Look at that! We'll be back right after this on the South Range Raiders show. You going first? Way to rep the brand. Yeah. Free advertising. What do you want to talk about? Talk about you, man. What do you want to talk about? What don't you want me to ask? What don't you want me to ask? What do you want me to ask? I don't know. We'll just talk. You're a big influencer in the community, and you work with kids, you do all that stuff, so we'll talk about that. Fair enough? You know me, man. I'm gonna prop you up. I'm gonna tee you up. You ready? And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Giangelo's here in Boardman. DJ Oakley with you, and we are joined this time. It's a two-time senior connection. It is, two best friends that we're going to have, Luke and Caden. These guys don't even get apart from each other. I'm so surprised that Caden's not sitting right there, literally. Luke Gehring, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause for this gentleman. A guy that you've been through a lot, man. You're young, but you've been through a lot. You've been through injuries. You've been through adversity, all that stuff. But you've learned one thing through all of this that I've found out over the last probably 9 months is when it comes to repping the brand, my friend, nobody does it better than you. Show it off. Sean Wardle, wherever you are, I know you're watching. Make sure you give him a raise for this, okay? This is not NIL money. This is just product placement right there, okay? Luke, I mean, in all seriousness, you've been through a ton, man. You've been through injuries this year. You've been through injuries before. What keeps you coming back? What keeps you getting up and moving forward and moving the chains?
Well, honestly, with like my last injury, with my shoulder injury before baseball, it was kind of life-changing because I didn't know how to react. Kind of future plans were messed up or changed a little bit, but I knew that I didn't like sitting around and doing nothing, and I knew that if I kept moving forward, then everything would end up working out the way it should. So
obviously that you've been, again, I'm trying to make sure this isn't feedback because we can hear it in our headset. They can't hear it. From a standpoint, there it is again. From a standpoint of getting back up and learning from that adversity, what have you learned about yourself?
Just really, I'm a little bit uptight when it comes to stuff. I just learned that, if you let things happen and go with the flow and stay with the routine, that good things end up happening, So
what good things have happened from that?
I appreciate sports a lot more. I appreciate friends a lot more, Appreciate doing simple things as like putting my shirt on and being able to play catch with my older brother or younger brother and stuff like that, so.
That's incredible. I mean, you come obviously, the last name's Gehring, so if you don't know what that last name means, in this area especially, you've been living under a rock. Do you feel like that there's sometimes a shadow over you because you're your big brother, or do you embrace that? Because I know you guys support each other. Talk to me about how you and other people can learn from that experience and kind of jump out of those shadows and be your own guy.
There's three of us, but we all have that one thing. We all love baseball, so it's easy to connect with that, but we're all each one of our own people and have our own strengths and own weaknesses, and it's really a super team because we all have our own different things. So
I love that.
It's nice to, learn more about my little brother, learn more about my older brother, and they can learn more about my hobbies and stuff.
You strike me as the guy that kind of ties everything together. Like the generational talent that knots your big brother and your little brother. Is that the job of a middle child, is to make sure that, were you breaking up the fights or were you kind of causing them? Were you the referee or were you the guy that was throwing the chair in the ring?
No, I was the one getting beat up on. So.
They were tag teaming you?
Yeah.
Oh, come
always.
on. Come on. You can take Will, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
can
we
take
got
Jake
that.
Too.
You can take Jake too.
Oh,
all right.
Guaranteed.
Now we know the true story of how he went down. So when you're looking at this year, a senior year, it went like this. I remember just meeting you, feels like 4 years ago, 6 years ago, right? And now you're a senior. I feel like you've grown up before our very eyes. For you, from your standpoint, how fast is it gone for you?
I remember freshman year playing with Jake. I was excited, he had his injury, and I was like, wow, I just realized to really cherish everything. And in doing that, I've tried to slow my life down a little bit, but it's like you wake up one day and you're a senior and you're like, wow, this is for real. You're going on college visits, you're meeting people, you're kind of like looking at real life, it's not what I'm going to eat for breakfast tomorrow. It's like, where am I going to spend the next 4 years of my life? So
this is almost an unfair interview because I feel like I've known you my entire life. I know that you have this incredible, like most people have like kick game strong and they got hat game. You, my friend, have a fetish with baseball gloves.
Oh, yeah.
How many baseball gloves do you have?
I have 17.
17? You can field an entire team.
Jake has 25.
Okay, so I'm not a good math person. That's a lot of gloves.
Yeah.
And how many's Will have?
I don't know. He's not into it as much as we are, but he's getting there. He probably has 5 or 6.
Okay, so you can
Because
field
he's a
like
catcher, so he has
well,
to.
those catcher's mitts, you got to have those.
Yeah.
Those are. What is your most cherished baseball glove?
I have 2.
Okay.
I have a Pete Alonso Mets first baseman's mitt.
It's
that I
his,
got.
or it's
No, it's his model.
It's his model.
And
okay.
they don't make them anymore, and I really wanted it, so I waited for one to go on sale, and I got that. But then my favorite of all is probably I imported a glove from Taiwan.
I heard about this one.
Yeah, with all my name on it and stuff, and I put mottos and phrases, and I got it right before I hurt myself, so like that was a big thing. Like it was with me like when I was like sitting on the couch and stuff. So
Okay, so we have to go through this, right? Monetary value of your entire glove collection. Are we talking like $100? Are we talking like $300? Are we talking like $1,000? Mom's yelling it out. She wants you to tell it. Are we talking like thousands of dollars?
well, you have to think the average price of my gloves would be about 300.
Oh my gosh.
$20, and I'm at 17. So
Are you ever going to sell them? Like, what are you going to do
Yeah,
with them?
I
You've
just-
got 2 hands and you
I
got
sold-
17 gloves.
I sold one 2 days ago.
You sold one.
Yeah.
Profit?
Yeah.
And what are you going to buy with that money?
I'm saving up to fix my car right now. So.
There it is. And I know how that conversation probably went. Oh, well, you can sell your gloves, Luke. You can sell your gloves to fix your car.
Yeah, they told me I can sell a lot of things.
In all seriousness, I mean, I've known your parents a long time. I love your parents. I know you do too. How much do they mean to you?
I'm a busy kid. As I said, I'm uptight. I have my schedule and stuff, but there's no better feeling, and it's really like been like opened me recently, like how important they are to have around. Like
Sure.
when you get home and like they're there for you, and you have a rough day, and they're always there for you. And my dad will push me to be the best, even if he says things that aren't
Not your dad, no.
the nicest of things.
No
But-
way. Not him.
But, my mom will always support me, and she's super loud, and I can hear her cheering for Caden, Kushai, and Gus and Cameron from the stands every week. So, it's a huge deal to have that support system. So
What's cool is obviously the parent aspect of it, but the brother aspect of it, you kind of alluded to it earlier. It's a different kind of love, right? It's a little bit more tough love, but in those down moments where you are battling adversity and you shouldn't blink in the face of adversity, those are the guys that are there for you the most. Is that accurate?
yeah, with Jake moving home, it's great to see him, and I get to see him a lot more often. It was tough when he was in Columbus, but like when I first found out my surgery, I needed to go talk to someone, so my mom let me skip the weekend of practice and stuff, and I went and spent the weekend with him, and it was a good experience. And then Will, he's not out of the house yet, and I still have him, so it's nice to play sports, be on the same field as him, and just have good conversations. Like as we get older, when we were younger, we were your brothers, kind of.
Sure.
We're all too close in age. That's super competitive.
They beat you up.
Hard to play sports. It was rough. Like you had to be up for the challenge. But as we've gotten older, we understand each other. I feel we've gotten so much closer. So.
That's incredible. All right, so Jake hands the baton to you. You get to hand the baton to Will. What things are you going to advise him of when you walk across that stage and you say, hey, man, you got a couple more years of this. This is how you got to set yourself up for success?
Just want to tell him to be himself. Do what you want. You don't have to follow us too. I'm not following Jake, and Will doesn't have to follow me. It's not. We're all our own person. Do what you want.
Okay,
Don't
so
let anyone tell you what you want to do.
sorry. We have a fourth Gehring brother that we need to talk about apparently as well, Caden Wilcox.
Yeah.
What's the deal there?
Well, we played pony baseball together, and we were never really friends. But then we started getting real close, and then one day we started talking about stuff. And we're like, man, we have a lot in common. We like fishing, hunting. We like cars, stuff like that. And then eventually, it's just become he just shows up at my house now. So
He just shows up. Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
He just shows up.
my favorite story is I got a call from Cushman, and it was Gus, Adam, Cameron, and Caden. They're like, hey, can we come over? And I was like, sure. And then they walked through my front door.
They were there.
They were already there.
Okay.
They just called me after.
We just don't knock anymore. We call when they're at the front door. What do you guys do? Just hanging out. You hunt, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you had your way, if it's your birthday, right? What do you want to do with your boys?
I don't know. I know for my birthday this year, we all went to a barbecue place and then hung out by the fire and stuff. So
Notice he said barbecue place. He didn't shout him out, right? Brand placement, folks. Sponsorships for sale right here with Luke Gehring. Dude, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Best of luck. Congratulations on everything you've been through and coming back. Luke Gehring, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back right after this with Caden Wilcox, the fourth Gehring brother, when we come back.
We do some science. What? Science. Science? You mix some stuff, make things blow up. Yeah? We do a lot of, the normal redneck stuff.
Who's the best hunter out of you?
I haven't really been in a little while.
What do you guys hunt? Deer?
I go beyond my house. Yeah, I like coyote. That's my favorite. It's at night. So it's too interesting. Ask Kane about ask Kane how it is working on my Camaro, and ask how it is working on his Comet. Because that's what our lives have been recently.
Good job, buddy.
I'm gonna head.
Yep, I'm proud of you. Come on, Caden. You ready? Good seeing you, buddy. Nice and easy. What? Don't they close at 9? Did he just want to sit here so he doesn't have to go? Does he just want to sit here so he doesn't have to go? We'll put him on.
I told him he ought to call up. He's going to get like 2 hours.
He can sell another glove, right? How you feeling?
Good.
All right. Anything you don't want to talk about?
No.
We'll get the sentimental stuff. We'll get you the adversity, and then we'll push on through. All right. Here you go. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Giangelo's here on 224 in Boardman. Special thanks to Lynn and Frank from Giangelo's for hosting us each and every week on Tuesdays. And this food, listen, did you try the pizza at all?
No, I haven't.
Oh my gosh, what is that? The old time pepperoni pizza, the best I've ever had. I'll probably get in trouble for saying that. It is. They say one bite, everybody knows the rules. You can't take one bite, I promise you that. Make sure you come out here. Old time pizza, the pepperoni pizza, amazing, amazing. Tell them why I sent you. All that out of the way, it's time to roll the red carpet out for a gentleman that I like a whole heck of a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, Caden Wilcox of the South Range Raiders joins us here. We just had your Siamese twin. I mean, what are you and Luke? You guys are so close that they were referring to you earlier as the fourth Gehring brother. How does that go over with you?
I mean, I got my picture up in their like living room with the thing and everything, above the dinner table. So,
are you serious?
Yeah. It's a best mom picture, and it sits right up in front in the middle.
Oh, I didn't see that one coming. You got me. Nobody ever gets me on that. That's good. So, do you ever want to superimpose or put like a tape picture like of the Gehring family photo and just put your head on the back and just be like, "Hi guys." No, nothing.
It's
just that one photo that you made it. That's all that matters. He talked about the stuff that you guys like doing, and you weren't super close. You were on a pony league team together, and then all of a sudden you found out you guys had a ton in common.
Yeah.
Is that the legit story? Same story for you, or was it a little bit different?
Yeah, we met like the end of middle school, and then over high school we just got really close.
So it was like Dale and Brennan from Step Brothers.
Yes.
Kind of, a little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit. Do you want to do karate in the garage? Did you guys ever do that?
I think he might have said that.
No, he did not. Stop
Just
it.
messing with you.
Dude, you've been through a lot this year. I mean, a ton, to the point where you were on the active roster, you were off the active roster, and then you basically, and I'm paraphrasing here, so correct me if I'm wrong, you basically told your doctor, listen, man, if there's nothing wrong with me from a standpoint and I can't make it any worse, I'm going back and I'm playing. True?
Yeah, he was, he said I shouldn't, but he understands, and I can play on it.
So what was it?
What do you like?
The injury. What was the overall injury?
It was a torn ACL.
Torn ACL. And you
Yeah.
suffered that when? First game, right?
No, it was like my
Practice.
first practice back. My first full practice back. Yeah.
And then, I mean, I know your mom's super excited about it. She told me on the phone, I'm a football mom. So when that happens, right, in your mind, because you were like, it wasn't like you weren't being ginger about the injury. It just happened,
Yeah.
right? You were going full go. That's what injuries happen. But you were like, maybe I'll play football, maybe I won't. That happens. What was going on in your mind mentally? Because, I mean, there's a mental part of every time something happens to you that you got to compartmentalize that and go, well, if I didn't play, I wouldn't have to do this. Did any of that go through your mind at all?
Yeah, but I love playing with my friends, and I can play, so I'm going to do it.
And you had to spend how long? If you didn't play, you had to be like 3 hours at a time without Luke. So that would have been tough. Some of the toughest, most adverse moments of your life.
Yeah.
So you get injured. Obviously, there's a lot to unpack there, right? But there's a moment of sunshine for you, right? When you go, I want to play. I'm gonna play. If I can't hurt it anymore. So, what does a doctor do? Like a guy that has like stuff all over the walls, right? And he's telling you shouldn't play, and you go, I'm playing, pal, because I'm country tough. You know what do they do? What does your mom do? What does your dad do? What does everybody do? What are the reactions?
They were letting me make my own decisions.
I know, and I think that's
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah.
Because that's a tough decision. Because in the back of your mind, you're a very smart individual. You're saying this can affect me for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But on the other side, was there a part of you that thought that if I don't play, that I'm missing out on memories that I'll never have?
Yeah. I was told by many, many people if I don't, I'm gonna regret it for the rest of my life.
Even
So-
if you're injured. That's crazy. That's crazy. So when you step back on the field, because I know that had to be a moment that I know warmed your mom's heart. But for you, was there any nerves? Was there any, the butterflies, the bubble guts, any of that?
Not really. I just like to go out and play.
Yeah?
I don't really get too nervous.
What is it about football that drives you, that you love so much?
I love that I'm out with my buddies.
That's
I'm
it.
playing for them, yeah.
You just love being out with your boys.
Yeah. I love football too. I love smacking people around, but
There it is.
I love being out with my buddies.
There it is. It's 1 and 1A. Buddies smacking people around.
Yeah.
Sometimes 1 and 1A kind of mix, right? So I was told to ask you about what it's like to fix Luke's car.
Yeah, coming home after like a 10-hour shift, and then, we got this car over here. You can help me. I'll do the brakes with you.
So you've learned all these unbelievable talents and skills, like mechanics. Like what do you want to be? I guess is what I'm trying to get to.
I don't know yet. I'm thinking a union trade,
Okay.
something like that.
Fair enough. I mean, anything that really captures your interest, like obviously working on cars, hunting, stuff like that. But like, what is it that you really like to do, and you think that you can make a nice living out of?
I think just doing physical work is. I know I'm set on doing that. Something that I'm not sitting down at a desk all day, not just running through the motions. I want to be out doing stuff, getting work done.
And you seem like your work ethic. I mean, I know your work ethic is incredible. I've heard people talk about it. It's almost legend status. Where do you get that from?
I'd say my dad. Yeah, always seeing him work so hard, and my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know your mom works hard.
Yeah.
Incredibly. I think I've met your dad twice, and I'm looking forward to meeting him 3 times here and talking to him. But your parents, I know they mean a ton to you. A ton. Explain in your words how much that they mean to you and you owe them.
I don't know if you could explain that in words. I mean, they're everything.
That's
they do
awesome.
everything for me, you know.
What's one of the pieces that maybe your dad has that you want to pick off of him and make sure that when your time, if you're a dad or you know, I don't know how old your dad is. I'm not even going to guess. But you sit there, you're 30, 40 years old, right? And you go, I want this part of who my dad was.
You know, sometimes he can be very understanding. You know, it has to be done now. I understand you don't have to do this right now. You can get it done when you have time. It doesn't have to happen right now.
But do it right.
Yeah.
Do it right. And your mom, a trait that you'd love to have from your mom?
She's very funny. I think I get all my humor from my mom.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What is the best advice that mom and dad have ever given you?
Maybe to do what I want to do, you know. Don't have to worry about what other people are thinking.
Did that go into your decision?
Yeah, I'd say so.
That's awesome.
I also got hounded a lot to not do it, so.
There's that mom coming out
Yeah.
again. And I hear that your family's just like nutso football fans, correct?
Mom is at least.
Wisconsin, right?
Yeah.
Wisconsin?
Badgers.
The Badgers.
Badger blood.
So are you a Badger fan?
I was born in Ohio, but I got Badger blood. That's what she says.
Where did you get your accent, by the way?
Accent?
Yeah, you have like an accent.
Am I just doing that because I'm talking?
Does anybody else hear the accent? Where did you get did you like visit Texas recently? What did you do?
I don't know.
I love it. Caden, congratulations, man. I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much for sitting with us. That is going to do it for the South Range Raiders show tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks to all our guests tonight. Thanks to Giangelo's. And come on out. Go Raiders this week against Struthers. We'll see you then at 7 p.m. right here on your sports network. Thank you so much. I got to find this one. You're good.
I get to roll.
You're good. All right, thanks. You're good. Thank you.
ISN thanks you for watching this